Good morning, how are you? Hope you're feeling better than I am. I'm a little bit flat today, so it's a little bit difficult. And that's brought me to one of my topics because it's basically, I think, what's happening at the moment to me. So I thought it was a good one to sort of talk about. I'm going to talk about self-worth because I think that's a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that we deal with when we have sort of low days, bad days, and those sort of things comes from our own feeling of self-worth and whether we're worthy of the attention or the love that we get from other people. I've just got a sort of a definition up around self-worth and what it might mean. And it's just self-worth is really around one's evaluation of self as a capable human being deserving of consideration and respect. It is our internal sense of being worthy of love, which is quite interesting. I think it's a very profound thing that self-worth is, and that we in some ways measure it ourselves and then give off the vibes of whether we feel like we're worthy of those things or not. And I think a lot of times, when people think you're very distant or you seem moody and stuff like that, it's probably our own internal struggles with ourselves around whether we are self-worthy. And I think it's quite important that we realise that self-worth a lot of times then also comes back to our values, because if we feel like we're living up to our values, then we're probably worthy of that self-worth. And then we're worthy of other people's respect and consideration. And so I think that cycle of understanding your values and understanding what drives your self-worth is then very important. There are quite a few books out that I've sort of read around this. There's obviously Anthony Robbins in his Awaken the Giant Within, and really talks about values and how they drive you. And then there's also the Values Principle, which is another very good book around working out your values and understanding them. And a lot of times that self-worth comes from those values. And if you are not aware of what your values are, then it's very hard to provide self-worth for yourself and to sort of feel like you're worthy, because you're instinctively sort of thinking that you are not doing the things you should be doing, i.e. your values. And so therefore you then aren't worthy of other people's consideration or other people's love. So it is a bit of a vicious cycle if you do not have a good understanding of what your values are and what you might feel like is at the top of your list. And I think sometimes it's very easy to sort of throw out things like family and money and power and security and all of those things, because they are all part of it. But I think it also matters in terms of what order. And there is no right or wrong. You know, people sort of think, oh, you should have family at the top. Well, shoulda, coulda, all of those sort of things, they then are incongruent with your values. And so therefore you're actually starting down that process of feeling guilty and then not feeling that self-worth. If you've sort of like somebody sort of says, oh, your family's got to be number one value, otherwise you're just a worthless person. And that's where it all sort of stems from. So I think a lot of times self-worth, when you sort of think about it, when you're having that low day, maybe have a look around and see whether you feel like your values are being met or you are meeting your values. And that might be a good first place to start. I thought I'd just start on this topic in a small way, first of all, just get some thoughts going, and then I would progress as I went along, because I think this is a very interesting topic as well. I'll certainly do something about values in the future, and how, we need to sort of think about those and get them more into our mindset so that we can sort of really understand what they are and how we can sort of make sure that we're meeting those. Anyway, hopefully, you understand a little bit more about self-worth. I know it was a very quick topic, and there's thousands of books, thousands of things dedicated to this, but it is interesting to sort of try and sort of summarize it in a simple way. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Look after yourself, and talk to you soon.